When my husband suggested that trip, I didn't think much of it at first, but the way he looked at me when he said, "Just trust me," made me feel something I couldn't explain. This is Auntie Lily, and today, I want to tell you something I never thought I'd say out loud. I used to believe that if you built a life with someone, really built it, from the ground up, nothing could come between you. Not money. Not stress. Not time. But I was wrong. Because sometimes, it only takes one moment for everything to change. And for me, that moment started with a phone call. It was a quiet afternoon. Nothing special. I was at home, going through my usual routine, trying to catch up on small things I had been putting off all week. The house was calm. Peaceful. And then my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. I almost let it go to voicemail. But something made me answer. The woman on the other end spoke gently. Very calmly. She told me she was calling about my aunt. I hadn't spoken to her in a long time. Not because we didn't care about each other, but because life just moved on. Still, hearing that she had passed away felt heavy. I didn't know what to say. I just stood there, holding the phone, trying to process it. And then she said something I wasn't expecting. My aunt had left something for me. An inheritance. At first, I didn't even understand. I asked her to repeat it. She explained everything slowly. There were documents. Assets. Money. It didn't feel real. I remember sitting down, just staring at the floor while she spoke. That evening, when my husband got home, I told him. I thought he would just listen. Maybe comfort me. But instead, he smiled. At first, it felt normal. He hugged me. Told me everything was going to be okay. That this was a good thing. And for a moment, I believed him. But then, something about him felt different. It wasn't anything obvious. Just small things. The way he started asking questions. Not about how I was feeling. But about the inheritance. How much are we talking about? Is everything already in your name? Who else knows about this? His tone was calm. Casual. But there was something behind it. Something I couldn't explain. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the way he looked at me. Like he was trying to figure something out. The next morning, he was quieter than usual. Watching me more. At one point, I noticed him standing in the hallway, just looking at me. When I asked if something was wrong, he smiled. Said, "No, you're fine." But I didn't feel fine. Over the next few days, things got worse. He started asking where I was going. Even for small things. He checked my phone once, then acted like it was nothing. That had never happened before. Not once in all our years together. And then one evening, I heard him talking on the phone. He didn't know I was nearby. His voice was low. Serious. "I just need a little more time." "No, she doesn't know anything yet." My heart started racing. I stood there, frozen. Part of me wanted to walk in. Ask him who he was talking to. But something inside me told me not to. Because for the first time, I didn't feel confused. I didn't feel hurt. I felt something much worse. I felt unsafe. That night, I didn't say anything. I acted like I hadn't heard him. Like everything was normal. But inside, something had already shifted. I started noticing things I had never paid attention to before. Small things. The way he would pause when I walked into a room. The way he would quickly lock his phone, even if he had just picked it up. And the silence. There was more silence than usual. Not the peaceful kind we used to have. But something heavier. Something uncomfortable. A few days later, he brought up the inheritance again. We were sitting at the dinner table. He barely touched his food. He just looked at me and said, "So, when do you get access to it?" I told him I wasn't sure yet. That there were still some legal steps. He nodded. But he didn't look satisfied. "Have you thought about what you're going to do with it?" His voice sounded calm. But there was pressure behind it. Like he was waiting for a specific answer. I told him I hadn't decided. And that's when I saw it. Just for a second. The way his expression changed. Not anger. Not disappointment. Something else. Something colder. That night, I locked my phone for the first time. I don't even remember why I did it. It just felt necessary. The next morning, he asked me about it. "Since when do you lock your phone?" He tried to laugh it off. But I could tell he noticed. I just shrugged. Said it was nothing. But now, we were both watching each other. Carefully. Quietly. Like something unspoken had settled between us. Later that week, he suggested we go out of town. "Just for a couple of days," he said. "Clear your mind. Get some fresh air." It sounded normal. Almost thoughtful. But something about it didn't feel right. I asked him where we would go. He said, "Somewhere quiet. You'll like it." He didn't give details. And for some reason, I didn't push. But that feeling in my chest, it didn't go away. That same night, I checked his phone. I had never done that before. Not once. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. My hands were shaking. I kept telling myself I was overthinking. That I was about to find nothing. But when I opened his messages, my stomach dropped. There were conversations I didn't recognize. Numbers without names. Short messages. Careful words. One of them stood out. "Make sure everything is ready before she signs anything." I froze. I read it again. And again. My heart started racing. They were talking about me. There was no doubt about it. I scrolled further. Most of the messages were deleted. But one more line caught my attention. "We don't have much time." I put the phone down slowly. My hands felt cold. My thoughts, all over the place. I didn't understand everything. But I understood enough. Something wasn't right. And whatever it was, it involved me. The next morning, he was acting normal again. Too normal. He smiled. Asked if I had packed yet. "Packed?" I asked. "For the trip," he said. Like it had already been decided. I looked at him, trying to read his face. But there was nothing there. Just that same calm expression. The same smile. And in that moment, I realized something. If I said no, he would know that I knew something. And I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. So I nodded. Told him I'd get my things ready. But inside, I had already made a decision. If I was going on that trip, I wasn't going unprepared. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those messages again. "We don't have much time. Before she signs anything." My mind kept trying to make sense of it. But no matter how I looked at it, it always came back to the same feeling. Something was being planned. And I was part of it. The next morning, I packed my bag slowly. I didn't take much. Just enough for a short trip. But before I closed it, I stopped. Something didn't feel right. So I added a few extra things. My charger. Some cash I had hidden away. And then, I slipped my old phone into the side pocket. It didn't even have a SIM card anymore. But it still worked. For recording. I don't know why I did that. It just felt like something I might need. When I came out of the room, he was already waiting. Keys in his hand. Watching me. "You ready?" he asked. I nodded. Trying to keep my voice steady. "Yeah." The drive started quietly. Too quietly. He didn't play music. Didn't talk much. Just kept his eyes on the road. And every now and then, he would glance at me. Quickly. Like he was checking something. We drove for hours. Further than I expected. The city slowly disappeared behind us. Buildings turned into open roads. Then trees. Then long stretches of nothing. At one point, I checked my phone. No signal. That's when my chest tightened. I looked at him. "Where exactly are we going?" I asked. He smiled. "Relax. You'll see." That same answer. The same calm tone. But now, it didn't feel reassuring. It felt controlled. Like he didn't want me to know. The road became narrower. Less cars. Less signs. Less everything. And then finally, he turned off the main road. Onto a smaller one. Gravel. The sound of the tires changed. Louder. Rougher. My hands started to feel cold. I looked out the window. Nothing but trees. No houses. No people. Just silence. "Are we close?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. Almost too quickly. We drove for another 10 minutes. Then he stopped the car. Just like that. No explanation. No warning. I looked around. There was nothing there. Just an empty clearing. Surrounded by trees. My heart started pounding. "Why are we stopping here?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. He just sat there. Hands still on the steering wheel. Looking straight ahead. Then slowly. He turned to me. And smiled. But this time. It didn't look like a smile. "Get out," he said. My stomach dropped. "What?" I said, "Get out of the car." His voice was calm. Too calm. Like this was normal. Like this was planned. I didn't move. I couldn't. Every instinct in my body was telling me something was wrong. Very wrong. "Why?" I asked. My voice barely steady. He let out a small sigh. Like I was being difficult. "Just get out for a minute," he said. "I want to show you something." But he didn't move. Didn't open his door. Didn't even look away from me. And that's when I noticed it. The way his hand slowly reached toward the center console. Like he was about to grab something. Something I couldn't see yet. My heart started racing faster. Every second felt heavier. And in that moment, I understood something very clearly. If I stepped out of that car, I might not get back in. I didn't move. Not even an inch. My hand was still resting on the door handle. But I didn't open it. Something deep inside me kept repeating the same thing. "Don't. Just don't." He was still watching me. That same calm look on his face. Like he was waiting for me to follow along. Like everything was already decided. "Why are you acting like this?" he said. His voice sounded almost annoyed now. Like I was ruining something. "I told you. I just want to show you something." I swallowed slowly. Trying to keep my voice steady. "Then show me," I said. "From here." For a moment, he didn't respond. His eyes stayed on mine. And I could feel it. That shift again. That coldness. Then he leaned back slightly. And let out a quiet breath. "You're overthinking," he said. But he didn't sound convincing. Not anymore. His hand was still near the center console. Not moving. Just resting there. Like he hadn't decided what to do next. I looked past him, toward the trees. There was nothing out there. No cabins. No roads. No signs of anything. Just silence. The kind of silence that feels too big. Too empty. And suddenly, I had a thought I couldn't ignore. No one would hear me out here. No one would come. If something happened, it would just disappear into this place. My chest tightened. But I forced myself to stay still. Because reacting too quickly could make things worse. I think we should go back, I said quietly. We can come another time. He didn't answer. He just stared at me. Longer this time. Like he was trying to read something in my face. Then slowly, his expression changed. That calm mask started to slip. Just a little. You don't trust me anymore, do you? He asked. The question caught me off guard. Not because of what he said, but because of how he said it. There was no emotion in his voice. No hurt. No anger. Just flat. Like he already knew the answer. I didn't respond right away. Because the truth was, I didn't know how to answer. But maybe my silence was enough. Because the next thing he did made my heart stop. He locked the doors. Click. The sound was quiet. But it felt loud in my chest. My fingers tightened around the handle. Why did you do that? I asked. My voice barely above a whisper. He didn't look at me. He just stared ahead again. You're not going anywhere, he said. Calm. Controlled. Like this was already settled. A wave of fear rushed through me. Stronger than anything I had felt before. This wasn't suspicion anymore. This wasn't doubt. This was real. I was trapped. My mind started racing. Fast. Too fast. Think. Just think. I glanced down slightly. Trying not to make it obvious. My bag was still by my feet. The side pocket slightly open. The old phone inside. Still there. Still hidden. I slowly shifted my foot. Just enough to nudge the bag closer. He didn't notice. Or maybe he didn't care. I tried to make this easy, he said suddenly. His voice softer now. Almost like he was explaining something. But you're making it complicated. My heart pounded harder. Making what complicated? I asked. He let out a small breath. Then finally turned toward me again. And this time, there was no smile. No calm. Just something dark. Something I had never seen before. You weren't supposed to question things, he said. That's all. My stomach dropped. Every word felt heavier than the last. What are you talking about? I whispered. He shook his head slightly. Like he was disappointed. In a few days, everything would have been done. Clean. Simple. And you would have never even known. My chest tightened. I could barely breathe. What would have been done? I asked. But deep down, I wasn't sure I wanted to hear the answer. He looked at me for a long moment. Then said quietly. You should have just trusted me. And in that moment, I knew. Whatever he had planned. It wasn't something I would walk away from. I didn't say anything after that. I couldn't. My throat felt tight, like the words wouldn't come out even if I tried. So I just sat there. Still. Listening to the sound of my own heartbeat. Loud. Fast. Unsteady. He turned away from me again. back to the windshield. Like the conversation was over. Like everything had already been decided. And for a few seconds, neither of us moved. The silence inside the car felt suffocating. Heavy. Pressing in from every side. I forced myself to breathe slowly. In and out. Trying not to panic. Because panic would make me careless. And I couldn't afford that. Not here. Not with him. My eyes shifted downward, just slightly. Toward my bag. Still by my feet. The side pocket still open. The old phone still inside. I needed to reach it. But not too fast. Not in a way he would notice. So I moved slowly. Very slowly. I adjusted my position, like I was just getting comfortable. Then gently slid my hand down, toward the bag. My fingers brushed against the fabric. I paused. Waited. He didn't react. Didn't look at me. Still staring straight ahead. I slipped my hand inside the pocket. Carefully. Quietly. And felt it. The phone. Cold. Familiar. I wrapped my fingers around it, and pulled it out just enough to press the screen. It lit up. Dim. I turned the brightness down immediately. Then, without thinking too much, I opened the recorder. And pressed record. I didn't know if it would help. But I knew one thing. If something happened, I needed proof. Something real. Something that showed what he had done. I slid the phone back into the pocket. Screen facing outward. Still recording. My heart was pounding so hard. I was sure he could hear it. But he didn't say anything. Not yet. Then suddenly, he reached forward. And turned off the engine. The sound cut out instantly. Leaving behind nothing but silence. Deep silence. The kind that makes everything feel unreal. My chest tightened again. Why did you do that? I asked. My voice barely steady. He didn't answer right away. He just sat there. Then slowly, he unbuckled his seatbelt. The click echoed in the car. Too loud. Too final. I froze. Every part of me went still. What are you doing? I asked. But this time, I already knew something was coming. He turned toward me again. And this time, there was no hiding it. No pretending. No calm mask. Just that same cold look. You made this harder than it needed to be, he said. His voice low. Controlled. But it's fine. My fingers tightened into my palms. I tried the door handle again. Still locked. Of course it was. He noticed. A small smile appeared on his face. Not warm. Not kind. Just satisfied. You really thought you could just leave, he said quietly. My heart started racing again. Faster than before. I looked around quickly. Windows. Doors. Nothing. No way out. Not like this. Then suddenly, he leaned closer. Not aggressively. Not fast. Just enough to make my body tense. You should have just signed the papers when I asked you to, he said. My mind went blank for a second. Papers? I repeated. He nodded slowly. Power of attorney. The words hit me like a shock. I stared at him, trying to process it. You said it was just for convenience, I whispered. He let out a quiet laugh. A dry, empty sound. And you believe that? My stomach dropped. Everything started to connect. The messages. The questions. The pressure. This wasn't sudden. This had been planned. Carefully. Step by step. And I had walked right into it. You were going to take everything, I said. My voice shaking now. He didn't deny it. Didn't even react. Eventually, he said. Like it was nothing. Like it didn't matter. My chest felt tight. Like I couldn't breathe properly. And me? I asked. The question slipped out before I could stop it. For a moment. He didn't answer. He just looked at me. Studying my face. And that silence. That silence told me everything. My heart dropped. Cold. Heavy. Because I finally understood. This wasn't just about money. This was about removing me from the picture. Completely. I swallowed hard. Trying to stay focused. Trying not to break. Because if I broke now, I wouldn't get another chance. And in that moment, I made a decision. I wasn't getting out of this car by asking. I wasn't getting out by waiting. If I wanted to survive, I had to act. I didn't let him see it. Not the fear. Not the panic building inside me. I just looked at him. And forced myself to stay calm. Because the moment he realized I was afraid, I would lose whatever control I had left. So I took a slow breath. Then another. And said quietly. Okay. He blinked. Just once. Like he hadn't expected that. Okay, he repeated. I nodded. Trying to keep my voice steady. If that's what you wanted, you should have just told me, I said. His eyes narrowed slightly. Studying me. Trying to understand. I lowered my gaze for a moment. Like I was thinking. Like I was giving in. I would have signed, I added softly. The words felt heavy in my mouth. But I said them anyway. Because right now, I didn't need to be right. I needed to stay alive. He leaned back slightly. Still watching me. Carefully. You're saying that now, he said. There was doubt in his voice. But also something else. Curiosity. I nodded again. I didn't understand before, I said. I thought it was something else. I paused. Letting the silence sit. Then added. But if it's just about the papers, we can fix that. He didn't respond right away. I could see it. The way his mind was working. Weighing my words. Deciding if I was telling the truth. I kept my face still. Calm. Even though my heart felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. Finally. He exhaled slowly. You should have said that earlier, he muttered. I didn't respond. I just nodded again. Carefully. Quietly. Then I looked down at my bag. Just for a second. Then back at him. Can I get my phone? I asked. His eyes followed the movement. Straight to the bag. And for a moment. Everything felt like it stopped. Because I realized something. If he checked that bag. If he found the phone recording. Everything would fall apart. Right there. In that moment. But I couldn't pull back now. So I kept my expression neutral. Like it didn't matter. Like I wasn't thinking anything at all. I just want to call the lawyer, I added. Ask what I need to do. He didn't move. Didn't answer. Just stared at me. Then slowly. His gaze dropped again. Back to the bag. Seconds passed. Heavy. Uncomfortable. And then. He nodded. Go ahead. My chest tightened. But I didn't react. Not on the outside. I leaned down slowly. Opened the bag. My fingers brushed past the old phone. Still recording. Still hidden. I grabbed my main phone instead. Pulled it out. Closed the bag. Carefully. Without drawing attention. My hands felt cold. But I forced them to stay steady. I unlocked the screen. Scrolled. Pretending to look for a number. But in reality, I was thinking. Fast. What now? Calling a lawyer wouldn't help. Not here. Not like this. I needed something else. Something immediate. Then it came to me. A small idea. Risky. But maybe enough. I don't have signal, I said quietly. I turned the phone toward him. Showing the screen. No service. He glanced at it. Then nodded. Yeah, it's like that out here. Of course it was. That's why he brought me here. I swallowed slowly. Then looked back at him. Maybe if we drive a little closer to the main road? I said. Just for a minute. He didn't answer right away. His fingers tapped lightly on the steering wheel. Thinking. Again. Deciding. And in that moment, I knew. This was it. If he said no, I might not get another chance. But if he said yes, even for a few minutes, that might be enough. Enough to find signal. Enough to send something. Enough to get help. The silence stretched longer. Then finally, he sighed. And reached for the key. Fine, he said. Quickly. The engine started again. The sound felt louder this time. Hope. Small. Fragile. But real. He shifted the car into gear. And began turning it around. My grip tightened around the phone in my hand. Because now, everything depended on what I did next. The car started moving again. Slowly at first. The gravel beneath the tires making that rough, uneven sound. Louder than before. Or maybe. It just felt louder now. Because every second mattered. I kept my eyes on my phone. Pretending to scroll. But I wasn't reading anything. I was watching the signal bar. Waiting. Hoping. Nothing. Still nothing. My grip tightened slightly. Don't panic. Not yet. We hadn't reached the main road. There was still time. He drove quietly. Focused. But I could feel it. He was watching me. Not directly. But enough. Like he didn't fully trust what I had said. And honestly, I didn't expect him to. I shifted slightly in my seat. Just enough to look outside. The trees were still dense. Still blocking everything. No houses. No people. Just that same empty stretch. My heart started picking up again. Faster. Because I knew. If I didn't get signal soon, I would have to try something else. Something riskier. And I wasn't sure I was ready for that. Then suddenly. One bar. It appeared for just a second. Then disappeared. My breath caught. I held the phone a little higher. Carefully. Trying not to make it obvious. Come on. Just a little more. The car kept moving. Another turn. Another stretch of road. Then. 2 bars. Weak. Flickering. But there. My heart started racing. This was it. I didn't have time to think. I opened my messages quickly. My fingers moving faster than they ever had before. I typed one name. My sister. The only person I knew would understand. The only one who wouldn't ignore it. My hands were shaking. But I forced myself to type. Short. Clear. No mistakes. I'm with him. Something is wrong. Remote road. No signal. If I don't call you in 10 minutes, call the police. I stared at the message for a second. Just 1 second. Then pressed send. The screen froze. Loading. Sending. My heart felt like it stopped. Come on. Come on. Then. Sent. The word appeared. Small. Simple. But it changed everything. I quickly locked the phone. Lowered it back into my lap. Tried to act normal. Tried to breathe. But my chest was tight. Because now. There was no going back. If he found out. Everything would fall apart. And almost immediately. Something changed. He slowed the car. Just slightly. But enough for me to notice. My stomach dropped. Did he see? Did he notice something? He didn't look at me. But his jaw tightened. His grip on the steering wheel stronger. You got signal? He asked. Casual. Too casual. I shook my head. No, it keeps dropping, I said. My voice steady. Somehow. He nodded slowly. But didn't say anything else. The silence returned. Thicker this time. He turned onto the main road again. The tires hitting smooth pavement. The sound changing. And for the first time since we stopped earlier. I felt it. A small shift. Like maybe. Just maybe. I had a chance. But I didn't relax. Not yet. Because something about him. Still felt off. Still felt dangerous. And then. He spoke again. You know, he said quietly. I didn't think you'd make this so complicated. My heart dropped. His voice had changed. Colder. Sharper. I didn't respond. I didn't move. I just sat there. Waiting. Because whatever came next. I knew it wasn't over. Not even close. I didn't answer him. I didn't even look at him. I just kept my eyes forward. Like I hadn't heard anything. But inside. Everything felt unsteady. Because I could hear it in his voice. That shift. That quiet edge. Something wasn't right. Not yet. Not fully. But close. Very close. The road stretched ahead of us. Empty. Long. No cars passing. No buildings nearby. Just open space. And silence. The kind that makes you feel exposed. I tightened my grip around my phone. Trying to stay grounded. Trying to stay calm. Then suddenly. He laughed. Soft at first. Then a little louder. It didn't sound natural. It didn't sound like him. It sounded forced. You know what's funny, he said. I didn't respond. I didn't move. I didn't give him anything. But he kept talking. I really thought you'd make this easy for me. My chest tightened. I swallowed slowly. Still saying nothing. Still waiting. You were always so trusting, he continued. Simple. That word hit differently. Simple. Like I had been something easy to handle. Something predictable. I felt something shift inside me. Not fear. Not anymore. Something else. Something sharper. But I kept my face still. Because reacting now would only make things worse. Then suddenly. He slowed the car again. This time more noticeably. My heart started racing. Why are you slowing down? I asked. I couldn't stop myself this time. He didn't answer. Just kept his eyes on the road. Then without warning. He turned the wheel. Hard. The car moved off the main road again. onto another narrow path. My breath caught. No, I said quietly. What are you doing? Still no answer. The tires hit dirt again. Rough. Unstable. My chest tightened. You said we were going back, I said. My voice shaking now. He finally spoke. You really think I'm going to just drive you home after this? He said. His tone was calm. But final. Like there was no question anymore. My stomach dropped. The small hope I had felt earlier. Gone. Just like that. I looked at my phone. Still in my hand. Locked. Silent. I had no idea if my message had been seen. No idea if help was coming. No idea if anyone even knew where I was. And now. We were going deeper again. Further away. Further out. I felt the panic rising again. Stronger this time. Harder to control. Please, I said. The word slipped out before I could stop it. Let's just go back. He didn't even look at me. Too late for that, he said. My hands started trembling. I tried to steady them. Tried to breathe. But nothing was working anymore. This wasn't just fear now. This was real danger. Right in front of me. Then suddenly. My phone vibrated. A small sound. But loud enough. Too loud. His eyes shifted instantly. Toward my hand. My heart stopped. For a second. Everything froze. Who's that? He asked. Quiet. Dangerously quiet. I swallowed. My mind racing. Think. Just think. It's nothing, I said quickly. Just a spam message. But even as I said it, I knew it sounded weak. He didn't believe me. I could see it in his face. That look again. That cold calculation. Show me, he said. My fingers tightened around the phone. No, it's really nothing, I said. Trying to stay calm. Trying not to break. But it was too late. He reached over. Fast. Too fast. His hand grabbing my wrist. Tight. Pain shooting up my arm. Show me, he repeated. This time louder. Sharper. My heart started pounding uncontrollably. This was it. Everything I had done. Everything I had tried. Was about to be exposed. And if he saw that message. If he understood what I had done. I didn't know what he would do next. But I knew one thing. It wouldn't be good. Not for me. His hand tightened around my wrist. Pain shot through my arm. Sharp. Sudden. Show me, he said again. This time, there was no calm left in his voice. Just anger. Raw. Uncontrolled. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely think. But I knew one thing. If I handed him that phone, everything was over. So I did the only thing I could. I pulled back. Hard. Twisting my wrist just enough to break his grip. It hurt. But I didn't stop. Before he could react, I pushed the door handle again. Over and over. Desperate. But still locked. Of course it was. Stop it, he snapped. Reaching for me again. But this time, I moved first. I shoved him. With everything I had. It wasn't enough to hurt him. But it was enough to throw him off. Just for a second. And that second was everything. My hand shot toward the lock. I didn't even remember when I had seen it. But somehow, I found it. Pressed it. Click. The sound hit my ears like a signal. Freedom. I didn't think. I didn't look back. I opened the door and threw myself out. The ground hit hard. Gravel tearing into my skin. Pain spreading through my arms and legs. But I didn't stop. I rolled. Then pushed myself up. And ran. I didn't care where. I didn't care how. I just ran. Behind me. I heard the car door slam. His voice. Shouting something I couldn't understand. But I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Because if I did, I might freeze. And if I froze, that would be it. The road ahead blurred. My breathing heavy. Uneven. My chest burning. But I kept moving. Faster. Further. Every step felt like it might be my last. Then suddenly. A sound. Faint at first. But real. A car. Coming from the distance. My heart jumped. Hope. Desperate. I stumbled toward the middle of the road. Waving my arms. Ignoring the pain. Ignoring everything. Help. I screamed. My voice breaking. The car slowed. Then stopped. A man stepped out. Confused. Concerned. What happened? He asked. But I couldn't answer. Not properly. The words wouldn't come. I just pointed behind me. Shaking. Trying to breathe. Trying to stay standing. He looked past me. Down the road. And that's when I saw it. My husband's car. Still there. Still parked. But he wasn't chasing me. He wasn't running. He was just standing there. Watching. From a distance. And then slowly. He got back into the car. And drove away. Just like that. Like none of it had happened. Like I had meant nothing. Like I was already gone. The police came later. After my sister saw the message. After she called. After everything started moving too fast to understand. They asked questions. Took statements. Tried to piece things together. But by then. He was already gone. Disappeared. Like he had planned everything in advance. It took time. To understand what really happened. To accept it. To even say it out loud. The man I had trusted with my life. Had planned to take everything from me. Not just the inheritance. But me. Completely. Sometimes. I still think about that day. About how close I came. How easily things could have ended differently. And the hardest part. Wasn't the fear. Or the pain. It was the realization. That the danger wasn't a stranger. It wasn't someone far away. It was someone I had loved. Someone I had trusted. Someone who knew exactly how to get close enough. To destroy everything. If there's one thing I learned from all of this. It's this. Trust is powerful. But it should never be blind. Because sometimes. The people who smile the most. Are the ones hiding the darkest intentions.